Hello, howdy, and welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Catherine, the Aerogarden Homesteader. So, a little bit of a busy day today. I need to make some granola. The weather is finally warming up, and hopefully whatever temperature control issues I was having over the winter have gone away. I probably haven't, but I wanted to get back to my granola. I think that the baked oatmeals have been really good for helping me clean out some of the extra things from my pantry. But, you know, at the same time, I really do love my granola and yogurt. So, let's get this going. I got granola to make, I got yogurt to make, and I have pizza dough to make. So, everything is, they're just long. So, I'm going to start by soaking my raisins. I do not have, I do have walnuts, but I don't have any walnuts that I want to use today. I have some pecans or pecans that are, well, you know, their best by date is coming up. So I decided I would just replace my walnuts with those. And I don't feel like that kind of nut needs to be soaked to remove bitterness. I think they're different enough from walnuts that I shouldn't have that issue. So I'm going to soak my raisins while I get my pizza dough going because, well, I mean, honestly, both things take a long time. But these need to soak. That needs to have stretches and folds. Like, everything just takes a while. I might have to defer the yogurt till tomorrow, just because this is going to be in the dehydrator today. But I don't think that'll be too big of an issue. Let me get some water in this so it can soak. Okay, there's my water. It can just sit off to the side and soak. And now I can move on to the pizza dough, which will also take a while because it needs time for stretches and folds. So, let's get this going. I need a teaspoon of yeast, so I can put this back in the fridge. I try to not take it out for any longer than I need to. Okay, and I need salt. There's that. Get some flour. Actually, so I'm making this for lunchables. It's not actually going to be for pizza tonight. It's going to be for lunchables for the kids to enjoy tonight and for whenever they want. We just store it in the freezer. I'm going to put in probably 2 tablespoons of sugar. They seemed to enjoy it, but they seemed to enjoy the one that had the sugar in it more. So this one is still, it's my recipe, but it has the sugar in it. That's really the only difference. So I need the 500 grams of flour. Pretty much everything else stays the same. It's mostly just the addition of the sugar that I think kind of made it more towards the lunchable side of things. Oh, I'm going to have to refill my flour bin. Okay. Close enough. Get that out of the way. Okay, and 360 grams of water. This is just kind of tepid tap water. That's a little too much, but that's okay. I'm going to give that a mix, and then we'll just do stretches and folds, 4 of them over the course of the next 40 minutes. So yeah, it's kind of a long one. Okay, that is combined. That's really all it needs, is to get all the flour worked off the side and just combine it together. So it just needs to sit now. I will get back to this in 10 minutes. Hopefully by then I will have the granola done so that I can start putting that in the dehydrator, and then I can work on cleaning up. So I'm trying to sort of streamline everything. I also have a few freeze dryer trays of strawberries in the freezer. So I did some, oh, I don't know when I did it. I don't know when the video showed up, but I did some strawberries. But I had 4 more trays in the freezer that also need to be dealt with. So I'm going to remember to run down sometime today, preferably this morning, and get those going, because they take a long time. Alright, this just needs to be covered. I will see this again in 10 minutes. And this needs to be cleaned up. Give this a quick wipe. Okay, so I got everything out. I just had to move it to the other counter. Chopped up my almonds earlier because there's nothing quite like biting into a massive chunk of almond. I have no idea how much this is. I think this is more than a cup. But I might just put it all in anyways. It's almost 2 cups. I guess we're making a big batch today. Okay. Well, I needed to get rid of this granola anyways, or this oatmeal. If you got other good uses for oatmeal, let me know. I've been doing baked oatmeal, I do granola, we do oatmeal cookies. I still have, I think it's a 2.5 gallon bucket that is still pretty full, and you know, the best by date was January. It still tastes fine, it's still fine, but you know, I don't want that going all summer. We don't normally do a lot of cooking or baking over the summer if we can avoid it, just so we're not heating up the house. So I'm not quite sure what I'll do with it over the summer. I kind of want it gone. Okay, put a little bit less of those. Just put like a layer in the bottom. I don't need a ton of these, but you know, it's nice to have. These are chia seeds, in case you don't recognize them. Again, kind of the same thing. It's probably like 1/4 of a cup, if even. And, yeah. Let's get into these. I bought these on sale. They were like in their reduced to clear bin, so I think it was because the date was pretty close, and that's why I got a good price on them. Let's just be generous. Might be worth breaking some of these up. They're a little on the big side. This might take me a little while. Okay, well, that's looking a little bit better. Probably missed a whole bunch of them. This is a slightly softer nut, and it's not as big as a walnut, so I'm not too concerned about this. Okay, honestly, I don't normally put in this many nuts, but I do have a whole bunch of nuts that are close to their best by date, so we are going nut heavy. So I'm going to be probably breaking up a whole bunch of nuts for a little while. So these ones I'll store the open bags in the freezer, but I really need to find freezer space for the other bags that are getting close to expiring as well. Either that or I need more recipes for more nut-based things. I don't think that's the case. I don't need to have a lot of sweet stuff, I just need to use things up. I will probably just start snacking on these, honestly, just to help get rid of them. Although these ones are unsalted, I purposely got them so I could use them for this. Let me know below if you've ever had cashew fruit. It's such an interesting thing. I had never heard of it until I had gone overseas. My parents did a little traveling for work, and we had a chance to go visit them. And yeah, we got introduced to cashew fruit. Oh, it's so good. We also got introduced to pomelos, which are really good, although the ones that they import they're not all that great. Tried buying one in the store once, and I'm like, oh, these are going to be so good, and yeah, it wasn't good at all. So try to not buy too much exotic fruit because I feel like it just lets you down. It's not as good as the memory of enjoying it in that country. So, okay, almost done. This one again, it's a pretty soft nut as well. It's not going to be a massive, you know, hard chunk in my mouth when I'm eating, but you know, it's still good to not encounter big, huge pieces of nut while eating your morning granola. Okay, I think it might actually be time for the sauce. Ooh, that is full. I wonder if I have a bigger bowl. I don't think I do. I think I might need a bigger bowl. Let's see if I can find one. Well, short of pulling out a massive stock pot, I don't have a bigger bowl, so we will just have to make this work. I think these are good, so I'm going to get these drained. And then hopefully I can get the sauce mixed up before I have to do a stretch and fold. Now, I don't know if you watched my first video where I was making granola. It wasn't the first video, but the first time I made granola. If you use good quality raisins, they're pretty clean. But I was using some no-name brand, and I found a lot of sand in the bottom of my bowl when I was rinsing the raisins. So definitely make sure to, you know, give them a clean. I feel like we just have a lot of stuff in our pantry that is going to expire. Look at this peanut butter. That is, what's the date on this one? July. Okay, well at least I had it till July. But I got one in there that I think I should have opened first. That was June. I see a lot of peanut butter cookies and granola in my future. I don't think the kids will complain about the cookies. Actually, I found a recipe. I think it was on Mel's Kitchen Cafe, so I don't know if you follow her. But it was for like a chocolate peanut butter oatmeal cookie or something. I really want to give that a try. It sounded good. So, hopefully we will see that in the near future because the kids are actually getting low on their freezer cookies. It took us a little while just because we had Easter candy and, you know, they don't need that much sugar, honestly. So, I want to give that a try when the cookies are gone. I think they will like them. Okay. Good to the last drop. Make sure you squeegee it all out. Okay, I think that's good. Gotta clean up my fingers. Just a bit of sugar. I don't put too much in because the peanut butter does have sugar in it. And then I'm going to get a little bit of this in. There you go, I think that's good. Cocoa. Okay, that was noisy, sorry about that. Alright, so, woo, make a mess. Oop, that might have been a little too much. Okay. Let's get this. Oh, I think it is time for a stretch and fold, so I might just let this sit with a bit of water on it to rehydrate and get the dough over here. Okay, this is real life. This is how it sometimes is in the kitchen. Just busy. Okay, remember, wet hand and the dough won't stick quite so bad. Might need more water. That is sticky. Okay, more water. You can see how it's really tightened up. It's starting to hold together, not tear. Okay, so I think that's probably good. It's still really sticky. I'm not going to be able to round that. Okay, let's get that covered and off to the side again. Okay, back to this. And I forgot salt. It's funny, I do actually notice when I forget the salt. Especially if I'm not putting in salted nuts, which I don't think any of the nuts I put in this time, oops, had salt in them. So it's actually pretty noticeable. And if you like to have a, I don't want to say darker flavor, but like a more roasty flavor, you can add molasses or brown sugar instead of white sugar. You could add honey too, honestly. You can use just about any sweetener of your choice. Oops. We are going for Messville today. I need more water. I also have a lot of granola to cover. So, one of the nice things about dehydrating it is it doesn't matter how much water you put in, but it will affect how long it takes to dehydrate. So just things to consider. You want enough to cover, but you don't want so much that it takes like all night. Just put in a little bit more, because I do have a lot to cover. But a lot of the chunks I think at this point are actually from the chunky peanut butter. So let's keep making a mess. Mixed in. I might need a pot, but that's just a lot. Okay, well, if this isn't big enough, I don't know what is. Okay, let's get this mixed up. And make sure you get all of that sauce in there. Oh, that is so much easier. I need a bigger bowl. Oh yeah, there we go. Look at that, all the way down to the bottom too, without losing it all over the counter. Okay, there you go. That's what it looks like. It is a little on the wet side just because I did add more water. I thought I was going to have trouble stirring it in, but hey, you know, the size of the bowl makes a difference. Who knew? Right. Oops. I am going to get this on dehydrator trays, and in the dehydrator, I feel like I never remember what settings I use. I probably should write these down, but it's kind of like a who cares. I think I do like 120 or 130 for like 4 or 5 hours, probably 4 hours. So I'll get some trays going for that. See if I can get this. They're easier to clean this way, but they're harder to work sometimes. Okay, let me get some trays now that I have room. Okay, well I grabbed 3. I'm going to guess that that's not going to be enough. Normally it is. Normally I have 1 that's got too much on it, and then 2 that don't quite have enough on it, but we'll see. Got some space here. Let's get some of this dumped out. Might have been easier to mix in the pot, but certainly not easier to dispense from the pot. That is heavy. Alright. So let's just get this spread out. Does anyone know how to clean these things? I have no idea. I think they're like Teflon sheets or something, but kind of hard to clean. It says not to submerge them or put them in the dishwasher or anything, but I feel like wiping them just isn't doing a good job. I will have to look that up because that is just annoying. Alright. There we go. 1 down. Maybe 2 more. Almost lost that on the floor. And we're almost at another stretch and fold. So definitely making the pizza first, or the pizza dough, was the way to go time-wise, even though it does kind of make things a little chopped up, having to go back and forth between things. Okay, that's that. Oops. I am getting so messy. Okay, last one. I think I can get it all to fit, so I don't think I made a ton extra. I think it was just a bowl issue. Oops! Oh no! I don't normally slide around this much, but yeah. Well, if you're familiar with an Excalibur dehydrator, I normally put in my trays in every other slot, just because this does have a little bit of height to it. Get this cleaned off. Okay, there we go. That'll take care of my granola, and it is time for another stretch and fold. Okay, well my fingers are dirty, so I just stuck it in for an hour, but I'll add more time. Okay, stretch and fold number 2. Let's see how this is doing. Oh yeah, see, that's so much nicer. Still sticky, but that's just to be expected. Okay, well now I just need to clean up my mess. Put everything away, and if I'm thinking about it, in a few minutes I can get the strawberries in the freeze dryer. So, not too shabby. Okay, stretch and fold number 3. Let's get this done. I did turn the freeze dryer on, so hopefully I will remember to put the strawberries in. Okay, that's that. Get that covered back up. And I figured while I was at it, I have a barbecue sauce bottle and barbecue sauce. So it will be easier for everybody to use the barbecue sauce from the bottle than it will be to do it from the jar. So let's just get this in here. Maybe I need a spoon yet. It's going to be a little noisy. So I had a failed batch of ketchup. Don't put things in your ketchup that you know you're not going to like. I don't know why I did it. I can't remember if it was celery salt or something else. Nutmeg. I think it was nutmeg or allspice. Oh, man. That changed the flavor profile substantially. So, yeah, needless to say that the ketchup was, it seemed like it was doing okay until I put that one spice in, and then it just tasted like barbecue sauce. So, if life hands you barbecue sauce, go with it. So I just made this is the Sweet Baby Ray's clone recipe that I've been seeing. So I finally gave it a try. It's okay. I feel like it's missing something, but it tastes fine. Maybe that's what Sweet Baby Ray's is supposed to taste like. But anyways, and you know, we're just used to, we like this Chipotle one. It's an applewood smoked Chipotle. We really like that one, but yeah, we can't find it in stores right now in our area, so we're just waiting. Hopefully this summer we'll be able to find some. But in the meantime, I have a lot of failed ketchup. So this is what we're going to be doing with it, and this will help go through it. So Now I have this to put in the fridge. Now I like to keep my stickers with what's in there, and then when I'm done with it I put the sticker by the sink so that I can remove the product from the inventory. So I keep everything in an inventory, and so I can go back and consult the date and what it is and make sure I'm removing the correct bottle from my inventory. It also lets me know how much crap I got floating around back in my shelves, because some of them are just hard to reach and see. So that's that. I got one more stretch and fold, and then I can kind of sit and relax for a little bit. Okay, last stretch and fold, and then I can get the strawberries going, and I can sit and relax for a few minutes. I need to put plants outside, but the sun doesn't actually hit the area where I put the plants until just around 10. It's like 9, so I got like an hour. I can sort of sit around and relax and twiddle my thumbs, so that also means this can sit and rise for an hour, and then I can maybe start shaping it after I get all the plants out. We'll see. There's that. Gotta get the strawberries in, gotta get plants out, gotta get this dealt with. Yeah, still a busy day. Okay, I feel like this has risen plenty. So I'm going to get this divided up into, I believe 35 grams was what we were doing last time, and that, that's sticky. Seems like it worked, so I'm going to do that again. We get a little flour down, get this out. Might knead it up just a little bit, just so that it can get a little less sticky. Maybe the no-knead version of this dough was not the way to go, but whatever. It's definitely a little stickier. Okay, maybe we'll go with 40 gram balls. So, get those all balled up. This will give them a little bit of a rest period as well, because I'm going to get them all balled up, and then I will shape them. Keep the flour handy. Hope I have enough, because I didn't fill up my flour bowl. Well, if you didn't figure it out, obviously the Lunchables were a hit. Otherwise, I would not be making more. Okay, that was really messy. So, note to self: don't do no knead. It's really sticky. It's not worth the mess. And get a bench scraper so it makes the cutting a little easier. That was not fun. Okay, I'm gonna clean off just a little bit. Okay, not perfect, but good enough. So I'm gonna start getting these rolled out. Don't have a lot of room here, but I am hoping that the first ones I did had enough time to rest. Oh yeah, that is soft and sticky. Flour is going to be my best friend here. Okay, let's see what we got. So I'm going to get some holes poked in these. This is what it looks like. Comfortably fit 6 to a tray, so it's just a matter of docking them so they do not get too puffy. Generally, I think if you just stick them in the oven before they have a chance to rise, they won't get too puffy. So that's that. I'm not going to really show you the rest because you know, they all look the same, but this is me. This is my day. I like to let my granola cool down before I put it in the container. This also allows me to figure out if it's fully dry or not. This took, honestly, it probably took 3 hours, but I put it in for an extra hour just in case. I like my granola to be nice and crispy. I don't know about you guys, but soft granola just doesn't cut it for me. But once I get it out of the dehydrator, I allow it to cool in the dehydrator, and then I take it out and I put it in this cereal dispenser Tupperware thingy, and then I can have at it whenever I want. I did end up with about 21 pizza rounds for the kids to enjoy, so that is going to keep them for 2 or 3 meals. Anyways, those turned out really nice. I probably could have gotten more if the dough hadn't been so sticky and hard to work with, so next time I know, don't use the no knead method. I will just do a regular standard dough and give it a quick knead and get it going. It'll probably be a little easier to work with. But yep, no, those turned out really nicely, and the kids will enjoy those for dinner tonight. It is yogurt time, and you notice I don't have any water in my pot. we are going directly in the pot. I hate this method. I just feel like it's really messy and I always get that layer of slightly scalded milk on the bottom, but I am putting in some dry milk powder. And the reason for this is, actually there's a couple of reasons. Number one, I have it. I'm trying to use it up. Number two, it actually makes for a thicker, richer yogurt because, like, I'm not sure how it works by adding extra milk protein to it, but it means I don't have to strain it to get that Greek-style yogurt. And I do like Greek-style yogurt, but don't like straining it because it's kind of messy. But I'm messing up a pot, so it's kind of sixes. Anyways, you need half a cup per quart of milk. I'm using a gallon. According to Google, because I don't know my quarts and gallons very well, there's 4 quarts in a gallon, so I needed 4 half cups, so that's what I did. I am doing the whole gallon. It will take up just as much room in my fridge to do half of this now and half of this later as it is to just do it all now. If I just do it all now, I don't have to worry about the milk going bad either. So other than adding the milk powder, everything is basically the same. I'm going to bring this up to 180 F, or I think it's about 80 degrees Celsius. I will let it cool down to 110, which I have no idea what that is in Celsius. Sorry. Let me see. If you subtract 32, what's that? 80, and then, so that's about 40 degrees. Then I can add my culture, which I have a little bit left over from last time. Kind of messed up my culture a little bit. I ran out of culture one day, and I was in the middle of making yogurt, and so I tried using sour cream, which apparently should work, but it didn't in my case, so we had to rush to the store that evening and make yogurt, and just to have to finish the yogurt the next day, which was annoying, but had to get done. I already had boiled the milk pretty much, so... Okay, so because it's in the pot, I need to keep a very close eye on this. I will be stirring this almost, maybe not constantly, but every probably 10 minutes at first, and then I decrease that as it gets closer because I just don't want it scalding on the bottom. I also ruined my nice silicone whip. I think it was just cheaply made. The silicone ripped, and then all the tines got liquid in it, and it rusted. So annoying. Things just aren't made the way they used to be. So yeah, I will just get this going. Once this is all said and done, I will put it in jars and put it in my dehydrator at, you know, I've actually been finding that if I use a lower temperature, if I do like, I think I've been doing 106 for 7 or 8 hours, I get a really good yogurt. It's not too sour, it's just the way I like it. So that's been working out for me. It's just something you kind of have to mess with to figure out what works for you. A lot of recipes say 110 for... I've seen them go all the way up to 24 hours, and it's like, I can't imagine that wouldn't be super sour. But, you know, some people like super sour yogurt, so you just have to kind of experiment and see what you prefer if this is the way you choose to go. So we like to just buy milk when it's on sale, and then just freeze it so that we can use it when we want. Let me see, get all of the milk out. Okay, well, I will take you along for all of this, but I will probably just skip forward because watching a pot of milk boil and then cool is going to be boring. So it has come up to temperature. I normally go a little bit above the 180 just because, you know, I don't know how accurate my thermometers are, so I'll go to like 185. I have it in the sink of cold water, and I will stir it. I did actually stir it the entire time just because I didn't want it scorching to the bottom, so it was kind of tedious. I will stir this every once in a while to help bring the temperature down, but I want to get it to 110. You could certainly just let it sit with a lid on, but you don't want to let it sit without something on it just to prevent things from falling in it. So, but I will, I'll just sort of keep stirring it. That way I can just get everything over and done with in one shot instead of having to keep coming back and checking on it. But, you know, hey, that's just me. So, here we go. We're just waiting. It's a waiting game. Now that I am at temperature, I need to get my starter in. So this is some starter that I saved from my last batch. Right. Put that in a bowl, break it up a little. I find if I don't break up the chunks that sometimes it doesn't go in very well. It just leaves chunks at the bottom. There we go. And just to really make sure it goes in well, I'm going to dilute it a little. See, it kind of stays together if you don't break it up a little. Okay, so that should hopefully go in and not leave any big chunks behind. Nothing worse than scooping it all out and finding a big chunk at the bottom that didn't go in. Alright. Okay. And it's just a matter of getting it in the jars. I don't trust myself to just try to pour from the pot because this pot doesn't pour very well, so I just have to do it the slow way. So of course, because of the extra powder and the culture, it does take up a little more than 4 quart jars. But that's fine. A little extra yogurt never hurt. So I just wipe up any of the drips just so I don't have any smelly parts on the outside or leaks in my dehydrator. And then this can just go in and truck along for 7 to 8 hours. I hope you found this video useful. Thank you for joining me today. I'll have some links for other videos that you might like at the end, and I will see you next time on the Aerogarden Homestead.